Rodrigo's a pipe dream. I need you to get Eze done because, again, if I just assume on one hand, Eze is only going to play left wing, he's an evident level raiser. You're better than Martinelli out there. You're better than Trossard out there. You're better than Madueke. You're probably better than all of them off the right-hand side. And we all know he can play in the 10 and the 8. I need level raisers. I think everybody understands we're not going to see 20, Galactico kind of players come in, but we have to raise the level. And where you really break it down, fair enough, defensively, I think Arteta's had a fairly decent record with our defensive recruits or whatever he's done defensively. Gabriel's worked out, Timber's worked out. Fair enough, Lewis Skelly was homegrown, but he's come. Ramsdale got a lot of heat. He did well. We upgraded with Raya. We kept it kind of moving, right? Midfield, it's been a bit mixed. I think of all the Chelsea players, Jorginho was probably one of the best ones of recent memory, whether we wanted him or not. Rice is a world-class 6 and he's doing his thing as an 8. Odegaard had a bit of a wobble, but 30 million. All right, cool. And I'm actually quite bullish about Zubimendi, which at this moment in time, Dan, for me, that's the only level raiser. Like, that is the only guy. And I don't know if he's going to do that from the jump, innit? Then I look at the attack. That is where it's hit and miss. That is where we're carrying too many players. That's where I want my Gyökeres. I know you're getting X amount. I've got my Saka. I think Eze can go and do that out there. I need that, really and truly. And I don't know if it's going to happen. So for me, I would love Rodrigo, but I'm on this just get Eze through the door, get Gyökeres through the door, tie off any other loose ends, start to move with outgoings, and then just monitor the Rodrigo situation. And if you can get it done, great, but don't get twisted. Go after Rodrigo. If you can't get him, I couldn't tell you, Dan, who we should get, but there must be, that tells me there's scope for another left winger or a wide option in addition to Madueke and Eze anyways. So go and find me a more realistic target. I know we've been linked with Anthony Gordon, give or take here and there. Nobody don't expect that to happen. We've been talking about Rodrigo. Like, I don't know where we go from here. But again, Dan, am I wrong for being frustrated in the sense that where we look at up front, where we look at left wing, even going back to when Martinelli had that great season, a lot of the frustrations with Arsenal fans is because we've known we've needed to do this last year or for years. Like, we've not learned in terms of recruitment and all these things coming into this summer. Surely we've been saying this for a number of years now.
I would accept any of the following players in these positions. In the number 10 role, I would accept Eze or Morgan Rogers. On the left, I would accept, obviously, Rodrigo. If it's not going to be Rodrigo, I would accept Lukeman. Up top, I would accept Gyökeres, Isak, Alvarez, or Osimhen. They are the only players I want to see coming into Arsenal. I don't want to see anybody else. They're the only names I want to see coming into Arsenal. And that, I think, gives us what I believe a great opportunity of winning the league. That's what we're ready to do now. It ain't about coming in and bringing in a couple of squad players here and there. Madueke needs to be the last one of them. I don't want to be seeing anybody else coming in that's like, oh, we might be able to give a little bit of competition. Nah, they improved the first team. Yeah, they improved the squad to a level where you think, wow, that could be a serious competition there for this position or whatever it be. Otherwise, it's like, what? So he's going to sit on the bench. Brilliant. Get excited. No more Norgards, no more Mosqueras, no more, Maduekes. I need to see now elite coming through the door. And look, I don't know if this is true about Real Madrid. I don't know what's happening with Rodrigo staying or going. No idea what's happening. But this is the one that we need to now lift the fan base with, in my opinion.
I think you're right, man. You touched on it. Would Lukeman have been a better option than Madueke?
100%, bro. 100%. Lukeman is cooking. He's cooking in Europe. Hat-trick in a Europa League final with Atalanta. I think his goals and assists speak for itself. He's been cooking. He's wanted by a lot of clubs, apparently. I would have gone for him 100%, and I think we would have got him for 52 million as well from Atlanta. So I don't know why we're not doing that. It must be, for whatever reason, that we wanted to be looking at Madueke and Eze over Lukeman. And that, for me, has to now work.
I don't think, Dan, I don't know what to say. It just has to work because
Do you like Lukeman? Yeah.
I would love Lukeman, man, because you can play on the left, you can play off the right. You're ready right now because I'm gonna back Madueke all the time, but it's like there's unrealized potential. Now, obviously, there's a question mark around Lukeman. He hasn't done it in the Prem. Yes, you can, if you're shameless, you can run the Prem proven stuff with Madueke. do think there's some upside with Madueke, but Lukeman, he's got that point to prove, a bit like Gyökeres. I'm not saying Madueke don't, but a bit like Gyökeres. When you left this country and you're coming back, there's question marks. You know, you're significantly a better player. He's kind of win now mode. Personally, I think almost irrelevant from this season where I look at Madueke. I think the club are looking at it that I don't buy these rumors that his wages, that he's whatever he's on at Chelsea, have stayed the same. I think within the next year, 18 months, 2 years, they're probably looking at, again, form can dictate if these guys stay or go, but we all know Martinelli stagnated. He's on a lot of money. I think they're looking at engineering him out. I think Mikel Arteta likes Kai Havertz, and I'm not trying to diss Kai Havertz, but naturally he's on a lot of money. Obviously, his role, he could have another role in midfield and have a facilitative role. But again, as we get better and people start to grow and we get better players, they might be looking at moving him on. And then obviously it feels like Trossard's going to be the one to go this summer. So I do think that factors in with Madueke, but I just need Mikel Arteta's hit to miss ratio. Like even with Madueke, a fit Gabriel Jesus is probably better off the left hand side. Lookman, for me, I would have been like, okay, we can work with it. I don't know how true it is yet, but I've seen some people in the chat just now and in general, they've said that Noni Madueke doesn't actually count as homegrown. I don't know how true that is. I thought he was English.
How can he not? Is it because of what? Because he was in PSV or what?
Yeah, I think so. I think he went there at like 16. I think he turned down a scholarship with Spurs, went PSV, and then obviously he's ended up at Chelsea and now he's here. But so I don't know how true that is. But I do believe it because we got a cup tie goalie last year. So anything could happen.
Man, this makes it even more random then, doesn't it? I mean, let's be honest. If it doesn't even count as homegrown, look, I don't know how much he's on. Apparently, according to Don, he's heard that he was on 55 at Chelsea and he's agreed to stay the same and come on 55 at Arsenal. That's what I'm being told. I don't know if that's true, but that's good like wages for him because obviously we don't want to be putting him on a bloody 200 as well. That needs to be sorted out, our wage structure for Berta. That's a big job for him now. But I've got to be honest, Lukeman would have been a really good option for us. Anthony Gordon, I think, would have been a better option than Madueke, but he would have probably cost more, if I'm honest. But in terms of the actual price, I'll tell you what, in terms of the price, I'd rather have had Kudus. I'd rather have had Lukeman. And I'll go one further. I'd rather have had Semenyo than Madueke. So I think those three would have been better than Madueke. I really do, bruv.
Kudus would have been lovely. Like, obviously, hindsight's a wonderful thing. And ultimately, you know, where Kudus has gone now and where Madueke is, we obviously hope Kudus fails. And I hope that, you know, Madueke plays to the standard where, you know, I can simply say, that's why Mikel Arteta and Arsenal are professionals in their industry. That's why I'm chatting shit on YouTube. But we've been linked with Kudus before. We know he's a quality player. We wanted him at Ajax. And I don't think, and again, clubs can't live or die by fans' decision, yeah. But I think if you got Kudus, I think a lot of fans would be a bit more giddier. And you can see he can play as a 10, he can play off the left, he can play off the right. With Madueke, obviously, my hot take is I think you might see him play through the middle on occasion, if I'm completely honest with you, because he does have that knack of getting into the box at the right time. He is good on the transition and he is a good ball carrier. It's not pretty, but I think he could do that. I just think it's too unproven. Now, we back Madueke all the way. What do you make of Palmer being linked with Fabio Vieira? Because you indirectly touched on it. I do think as much as Berta was brought in, you know, with his reputation at Atletico Madrid and all of that, I think people need to remember he came into football with a financial background. Now, as Dan eloquently put, there is a remit, like with last season, to get some money in and fix up the wages and things of that ilk. And I don't think anything's going to change this year. What do you make of Fabio Vieira going to Palmer and the need for outgoings at the club?
Let's get him gone. Let's get him gone. The problem I've got, DG, is we ain't going to get money for these guys. And anyone expecting us to be bringing up 150, 200 million, it ain't going to happen. We'll go through the players that could quite easily go. Cole Hein, he's not going to get us much money. Zinchenko, a few million, yeah. Zinchenko, hardly any money because he's on mad wages, right? Kivior looks like he's staying, but I am seeing reports that he wants to go to Italy and play first team football. Probably the one that can get us fair money, right? Probably get 30
or maybe loan with option to buy then, because the Italian clubs are going to say, "Oh, we ain't got no money."
Exactly. So I'm. It's calm if you have to do that, right? But that's the way. Lokonga, dear me, not going to get anything for him. Yeah, you're going to get seriously about 5 to 8 million for him
if you're lucky.
Yeah. That's that. Fabi Vieira, Palmer are talking about 20 million euros. Is that the rumor? I mean, that's about 15 M's. Like, I just get rid of him.
They might even say loan with option to buy.
Yeah, exactly. Marquinhos has gone. Tierney has gone. Partey has gone. Tomiyasu has gone. The only other players that we can sell are Trossard, who we believe could be available for around 20 to 25 million. Fenerbahce apparently interested, but that's called today. Martinelli, but he's on mad wages, and I don't think
Yeah, so
anyone's
that's
going to be giving
redundant.
us the money that we want. So I think he's staying. And the only other player that people have forgotten about, who I'm hearing is going to be fit enough to pass medicals, is Jesus.
Swear down.
So that's what I'm hearing today, that he might be okay, not ready to start and play for Arsenal,
But
but
ahead of schedule.
he might be able to get into some fitness regime so that we can actually get him off and gone. And that's why people are saying that Gyökeres will be given the number 9 shirt, because Jesus will go to Brazil or Saudi. But we ain't getting much money for him. Let's be real. We're going to get about 30 million for him, tops.
If
So
that, yeah.
if that. So I'm looking at adding this up now, thinking we might not even get 100 million for these players. So we've got to get them gone, though, DG. They've got to go, man. They've got to go.
And that's the annoying thing. It's like we got to let players go, but then we got to bring people in. It kind of feels like a sideward step in that. Cool, you let Trossard go financially. All right, he's got a year left, but then you bring in Madueke. I don't know if he's an upgrade. You let 3 players go out. You bring 3 players in. I can't see the upgrades. Obviously, Partey's left, and with what came out after it, you know, it is what it is. Norgard's coming. I've got nothing against Norgard in theory, but it's not really upgrades. And again, it goes back to what we were saying at the start. And I will shut my mouth really until September the 1st. I haven't seen any level raisers. Zuba-Mendy is the only one I genuinely think is that. And obviously, you can caveat that with the man's going to need to be given time to develop and all of that jazz. And what you've been saying there with all of those players, yeah, like we've never notoriously been good sellers. Like I was having this conversation in my WhatsApp group. Could you imagine we signed Madueke from PSV, right? And he was here for a matter of 18 months. Now, I know Chelsea, Arsenal don't sell players to Chelsea. We've only sold them the good ones like Ashley Cole, etc. people. But I don't think we're getting 50 odd million, 52 odd million if the shoe was on the other foot. So if Berta can put us in the right direction and get us better at selling, then fair play. But you can't really see who's bringing in money. You do add that Arsenal tax. So you can't really make a case of offsetting, you know, any Rodrigo and all of that stuff with some potential outgoings, unless we've got a significant kitty, which rumors are saying we've got 200, 250, 300 million. I just want to know, is this what we was keeping the powder dry for? And this is the war chest and X Factor and all these buzzwords they come out with.
Bro,
Jarring.
about, you know, is this what we're expecting? Is this what we're keeping it for? And this is why we haven't spent in 3 windows. This is why this window needs to be perfect, exciting. I was told goosebumps. I ain't got goosebumps yet. It's the sort of goosebumps you get when you get like a shudder or a chill or a nasty nightmare, isn't it? This is not goosebumps to get you excited for me.
Or
Now,
a brown letter from HMRC or something. That's the goosebumps we're getting. Like, that is that.
what I
Like,
mean.
letter you don't want.
That's what I mean, man. So I've got to be honest. For me, I don't have hairs on the back of my neck yet with Madueke and even Zuba-Mendy and Norgard. I like Zuba-Mendy. He's by far the best signing we've made so far. The others, not so much. Kepa is very meh. Norgard is very meh. And Madueke has caused absolute meltdowns in certain sections of the fan base. Up top, it's got to be Gyökeres. It has to be Eze in the 10. And it has to be Rodrigo in the left. Then I'll start getting goosebumps for the right reasons. I ain't talking about goosebumps for these players coming in. And in terms of players coming out, we just need to get rid of them. The other player is Reece Nelson.
Completely
Just let
forgot
Reece
about
go
him.
and play his football somewhere. I don't care where it is. I don't care how much we get for him. If it's 8 to 10 mil, just get rid of him. Get him off the wage bill. He's on 100k a week, this guy, right? And I love Reece for obvious reasons, but he isn't quite the level we need.
It's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, if he has to go on loan again, okay, go to Leeds or whatever it be, that's fine. But we need to get him gone. There needs to be an obligation to get him. I can't be dealing with these players being just sent out on loan again. And these are all players that have been bought or kept by this manager and Edu, by the way, who people think are brilliant and have done no wrong. Fabi Vieira, Lokonga, Reece Nelson, put on stupid wages. You've got still players like Jesus, who we're trying to look at. Tomiyasu, who had to get his contract ripped up. These are all players that have been signed by these. So why are we still talking about them being at the club? Lokonga was signed in 2021, wasn't he? I mean, come on, man. Like, it's mad.
Did the Tomiyasu one shock you when we ripped up his deal?
Yeah, it did, but I'm happy. But it did shock me. I didn't expect it. Because I feel like, on the one hand, I feel sorry for Tomiyasu because it's not his fault. Injuries is never a player's fault. It can happen to anyone. At the same time, I thought to myself, look, we have to be ruthless here. And the club were ruthless. I felt like we could have easily done it with Jesus as well, by the way. Because when you've had 4 knee ops and you've been crocked that long and you're on 265 a week, you've got to look at your future. And that's why it wouldn't
They don't want
surprise
to pay
me if
him out,
somebody
though.
comes in. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Fluminense or Palmeiras or Flamengo come in for Jesus, because we're going to have to try and get rid of him somehow. He can't stay here. He can't. And if he's fit next season and he don't get injured, I like Jesus as a footballer, but he ain't going to be DG. He's going to be crocked again soon. So we need to try and get rid of him and get his wages gone. And that's the problem. Saudi and Brazil are the only place he can go, because Brazil is the only place he can sit there and say, right, I can take a wage cut here and go home and play some football. And Saudi is the only one that's going to get anywhere near to paying him that much money. No one's going to buy him in the Prem or Europe. We're stuck with Jesus, man.
This is the thing, man. Like, we've had this squad together for quite a long time, and to be honest with you, unfortunately, I think, when it's all said and done, there's been more like there's been nicer climates at our football club. There's been time where it's all doom and gloom, everybody out, we're on to everyone. Personally, I think there's a civil war with Arsenal fans about to develop going into this season, right? But I think we've continuously kicked problems up the road, needing a Saka backup, needing an upgrade on Martinelli, needing bodies, Arteta changing tactics and things of that ilk. Now we've left ourselves with no margin for error, man. I wanted to ask you, as where things stand, yeah, because I know the signings thing is only like hyping it to a degree, and I know where Spurs finished and all of those things. As it stands, yeah, I've got City to win the league, Liverpool second, Arsenal third, and Spurs/Chelsea for fourth and whatnot. Where do you see it?
I have Liverpool to win the league and go back to back. I have Manchester City to be in second, Arsenal in third. I actually, at the moment, have Chelsea fourth, just ahead of Newcastle. And then I think
Newcastle
after that,
as well.
I have no idea what's going to happen after that. I think that Spurs and Villa and maybe even the likes of, a surprise like a Brighton or somebody like that, I think will be fighting there after that. And then, yeah, for me, I think the top 4 and 5 is going to be that. I think the same. Newcastle and Chelsea just behind Arsenal, City and Liverpool. And with Liverpool signings, I think they go back to back. I still think they get Ekitike or striker. So, yeah, it'll be interesting for me. But a lot needs to change for Arsenal to be considered serious.
I don't think you're lying, man. And for me, it's nothing to do with Madueke or Zubamendi or anybody at the club. I'm going to sound hypocritical because I don't like to watch what other teams are doing, but naturally to a degree you do, right? So I always find myself, every signing we make, like, fair enough, squad depth in their own way, they can help you. But every signing we make in terms of game changers, how does that get us closer to Liverpool or City? I don't see how anybody but Zubamendi at this point does that. We're going to run through a couple of things quickly before Dan gets out of here, man. Apparently, L'Equipe were reporting a few days ago, William Saliba has received a substantial proposal from Arsenal to renew his contract at the club. Where are you at with that? Do you think he does that? And if you was him, would you do that? Or do you think he's going to wait on his hands?
I think Saka will sign, and I'm not sure if Saliba will yet. It really depends how much Real Madrid are in his ears, because I believe they'll be talking to him now saying, look, don't sign. Stay there for 2 years. See your contract out, but come to us on a free in 2 years.
Hey, man, Konate.
Yeah, Konaté, Trent, Mbappe. This is how they're getting players now. They're talking and tapping them up, saying, yeah, give it 2 years. Come play for us when you're 27, 26, whatever it'll be. So that's what I think he'll do. If I'm brutally honest, that's what I think he'll do. Arsenal then need to decide then if they're going to sell him or let him go on a free. Now, I could be wrong and he could sign for us. And Real Madrid will have to come in with serious money then. I need him to sign, DG. I need him to sign. He needs to go on 300 alongside Saka. They both need to be put on 300 if Kai Havertz is on 290. If we've got money to do that, do it. I cannot be dealing with losing this guy.
How do you feel, speaking of new contracts? Apparently, Dalman wants to stay at Arsenal and talks already underway about a new kind of deal. And apparently, we're also confident around Nwaneri. I can't find the thing for the life of me. But yeah, but Nwaneri as well has been linked with a new deal as well. So, like, does that provide some optimism?
I think both news is positive about... I think the news of Saka, Saliba, Dalman and Nwaneri is fairly positive. Saliba's the only question mark, I think. I feel like Nwaneri, if he wants first-team football, he should sign a new contract and then go out on loan. And somewhere in Europe might be quite good for him. Doesn't have to be a Leeds or a Burnley. He can go over to like maybe Napoli or Dortmund. But when I look at the scenario of somebody like Max Dalman, this is something that looks like a ridiculously special talent that's come out of a laboratory somewhere, bruv. Like, I don't know how you can be this good at 14, 15. So he needs to stay.
Living the dream.
New deal. And we need to try and find a place for both of these kids like we have Miles Lewis-Skelly in terms of how they can one day get there. It's going to be tough because of where Saka and Ødegaard play. And I think that Madueke coming in and Eze coming in is also going to give them question marks. But for me, these kids are young. We need to keep them happy. I am very excited about the futures of both of these. I don't think either of them are ready to play 30 or 40 games for Arsenal yet. But I certainly believe they've got unbelievable futures. So we need to keep both of them, man.
Need to keep both of them. Finally, I don't know if you saw on social media, but fans should have only protested, only no need to go overboard with threats. We don't advocate threats and vandalism. So I guess what this is alluding to, shout out Gooner Talks Football. Shout out Ryan for the super chat earlier, by the way. Like, what did you make of the vandalism of the murals and whatnot, like the Banksy paintings around the Emirates?
There's a section of the fan base that are idiots, bro. Let's just say it how it is.
Always doing too much.
Base, you know, every fan base has got them, and we go over the top. And the section of the fan base that get violent, abusive, and aggressive aren't really welcome at the club, in my opinion. Now, I can appreciate that people are questioning or they're upset or they're angry. I'm angry, but I hold it together. I'm an adult. Like, I don't go and put a load of abuse in people's DMs and start keyboard Tourette's with them all. I don't start abusing them. I don't start telling people that they're scum and that they're wankers and see you next Tuesdays and all this rubbish.
Doing way too much.
Way too much. And then they go and plaster it all over the murals. Now, people know where I'm at with the murals. I like some of the murals and I'm not too sure about some of the others. However, I wouldn't go plastering loads of abuse over them. I wouldn't go, even if I don't like Kroenke, I wouldn't go and abuse, calling him all the names under the sun, throwing all paint all over it. I wouldn't go be saying Arteta out all over the underwall tunnel. That ain't how you do things. So for me, I think it's ridiculous. And yeah, the people that have done that will probably feel very proud, but they've, in my opinion, it's pathetic, man.
And one thing about me, Dan, is especially around Arsenal Football Club, a lot of fans love to talk about how we're a classy club and do things with class. And it's not even necessarily with the club. They kind of showed their hand a few weeks ago. But keep yourself to those same standards, really. Like, you can't be jumping in DMs and abusing, damaging stuff. Just keep it football. Keep yourself composed. Now, I'm sure there's an element of people are like little kids and that. But for the grown men and women out there, to say you're moving disgraceful is an understatement. But yeah, man, let's hope